The league is defending itself. These are not just words. Let me explain. This is what Gor Mahia fans say to mean it does not matter what happens throughout the season. In the end, they, Gor Mahia FC, will end up as champions. How true is this? I mean, there could be some truth to this statement. Gor Mahia are 21 times KPL champions, while the second team, Tusker FC, are 13 times champions, followed by AFC with 12 titles. This is according to Wikipedia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of CSports Stories, a show where we talk about anything that is interesting in the sports world. In this episode, what the hell is happening in the Kenyan Premier League? We have recently just kicked off the second leg of the season. After 20 matches, this is what the table looks like. We have Kenya Police and Tusker joint top with 38 points. Police are ahead of Tusker on goal difference, while 21 times current defending champions Gor Mahia are third with 34 points, followed by KCB, Bandari, Leopards and Shabana with 32, 32, 30, 28 points respectively. Back to our original statement. How true is it? After game week 10, this is what the table looked like. The champions, Gor Mahia, were still in the trenches. After 7 matches, they were 8th, having won 3, drawn 2 and lost 2. Look at the top. KCB had taken off, leaving everyone behind. Now look at the bottom. Police FC, who are currently top of the table, are position 17 with 1 win, 1 loss and 5 draws. After game week 15, this is what the table looked like. KCB was still top of the table, just joint with Tusker, while Gor Mahia were now third, and the biggest jumper within the 5 game week period, Police FC were now fourth with 24 points, just like Gor Mahia. Honorary mentions: Moranga Seal were 15th in game week 10, and after game week 15, they were 8th. That brings us to the present day. While Gor Mahia have maintained the third position, Police kept over Gor and Tusker to lead the table on goal difference. KCB have dropped to 4th place, tied to Bandari, both with 32 points ahead of Leopards, who have 30 points with a game in hand. If Leopards win their game in hand, they can jump to 4th ahead of the Bankers and the Dockers. Just one problem for the Leopards. Their game in hand is versus Gor Mahia, the defending champions. In the last 6 matches between Gor Mahia and Leopards, Gor have won 3, drawn 2, and Leopards have won 1. While in the last 3 fixtures between the clubs, Gor Mahia have won the last 2. So, is the league really defending itself for Gor Mahia? To answer this, let's have a look at the table for game week 19, then the matches played for game week 20, and finally, the table and the graphs for the top 3 teams. After game week 19, Police and Tusker were joint top of the table with 37 points, 6 points ahead of the third place, Gor Mahia, with 31. Game week 20, the most anticipated game of the week, Tusker versus Police. Have a guess, just take a minute to guess how the game ended. Exactly, it was a barren draw, 0-0. And do you know who won? Gor Mahia. and they did not just win, it was a comeback. Mathare took the lead, but the champions scored 2 to win it 2-1, and that brought them 4 points closer to the top 2. And remember, they have a game in hand against Leopards. Speaking of Leopards, they were 2 points behind Gor, and then they drew against Sharks and are now 4 points behind Gor. So we ask again, is the league defending itself for Gor Mahia? Despite the lapses here and there, the only way for Gor Mahia seems to be up. Their season can be represented by the graph. They hired a new coach at the start of the season, fired him through the season because of mixed results, then Zico took over as the caretaker, and they have finally settled on a Croatian Italian called Sinisa Mihic to lead them. KCB were the first table toppers, and now they are 4th. Then Tusker took over, and then they dropped to 2nd. And now Kenya Police lead. Will they maintain or drop? While the defending champions Gor Mahia have only been in an upward trajectory. Will the Kenya Police hold on to that spot until the end of the season, or will the league defend itself for the 21-time defending champions, the mighty Kogalo Gor Mahia? I guess we will have to wait and see. We just can't wait to see how the table will be looking like by game week 30. See you in the next episode of CSports Stories.